All right, P3s, our next writing assignment is going to be on informational texts. Another way to call these are non-chronological reports. Here we go. All right, so here's where we're going to get started. What are informational texts? Well, they're always true because they have facts in them, and facts are always true. Why do we want to write about them? Well, authors will write informational books to teach you about a certain topic. So if you want to learn more about something, you'd get an informational text. Now, we know the difference between fact and fiction. Those are fiction books. That means they aren't true. Nonfiction is true. So if you want to learn about tigers or Native Americans or polar bears, you could look up some stories that are nonfiction or informational text. These types of books will always have different features in them. So there'll be a table of contents, facts, and glossaries, some special words to learn. All right, so now we're going to talk about brainstorming and choosing our topic. So we know informational texts tell facts. And facts are always true. We're not making anything up. We're making sure it's true. Authors write informational books to teach about a topic. The topic is what the book is all about. So this book here, the topic would be tigers. Everything in the book is about tigers. When you write your story, you're going to brainstorm some ideas, stuff that you know lots about. So I could write about bikes, I could write about computers, I could write about money, or I could write about dogs. And those are all topics I know about and I wouldn't get bored with because I like them. Next, you're going to think about your audience. Who do you want to read your book? Who's going to be reading it? Because that's the whole reason we write is for someone else to read it. Are you going to write it for your little brother? Or are you going to write it for your mom? Well, when choosing your topic, you just think about who you're going to write it for. So if you're going to write about dogs, so what do I know a lot about? What can I teach my audience? What am I really interested in? Then you're going to choose. All right, bikes, computers, dogs, money. Oh, I really like computers, and my audience would be my class, and I know I could teach them a few things about computers that they would all really like to read about. So that's the choice I've made, so that way I won't get bored and I'll have lots to say about this topic. I'm ready to make my plan. Authors always make a plan before they write. That way they can organize their ideas. Now, here are the parts I'm going to include in my plan. We always have an introduction where you tell the reader what you're going to be writing about. Then subtopics. Subtopics are parts that you want to include. And then the closing where we summarize it all. Now, we decided my topic was going to be on computers. So now I can get my thoughts together and plan my subtopics. They divide your topic into smaller little sections. So if my topic is computers, then one of my subtopics could be kinds of computers, parts of computers, and what computers do. So now I've got 3 sections to all write about. And now I've got my plan all laid out. My topic, my introduction where I tell the reader what I'm going to talk about, and then my subtopics or my headings, kind of computers, parts of computers, what computers do, and then I can wrap it all up at the end with my closing. All right, now we're going to discuss your introduction. So when we look back at our plan, we've got our topic and now our introduction for our writing. An introduction is the first part of your writing. Authors write introductions to hook the reader in. We don't want it to be boring and we don't want to put our books down. They want it to be, ooh, I can't put this book down. It's so intriguing. Authors also tell the readers what they'll learn in the introduction. Hooks. We've talked about this before in writing. How are you going to get the reader engaged? Ooh, you could start off with a surprising fact. Or you could ask a question. Have you ever? Did you know? So our hook is going to be all about computers. So one of our suggestions could be start with a question. Did you know there are about 2 billion computers in the world? That's a surprising fact that people will want to know more about. Then we're going to introduce the topic a bit more. Why should people read this? What are they going to learn? So, did you know there are about 2 billion computers in the world? You'll probably use a computer your whole life, so it's important to learn about them. Read this book to learn about kinds of computers, parts of computers, and what computers can do. Ooh, notice that punctuation. And look, now our introduction's done. Now we can go on to start our subtopic. All right, P3s, now you know all about informational text. There's a bunch of books in the library in our Bitmoji classroom on the bookshelf. For examples, there's ones on sharks and owls and horses and all sorts of cool things. So make sure you take a listen to all those books and get some ideas. Then think about it. What could I write my informational text about? Make a list in your remote learning book of 5 topics that you could write about it. Then take some time and really think. Which of those 5 topics do you know the most about? Which would be the easiest for you to write about? Which would your audience really like to hear about? Circle it once you have your answer. Your next step is going to make some subheadings. So those different chunks of the story that you could write about, like we did with the computers, where we did about different topics, make your list of the topics you could talk about. If you finish all that, then start writing your hook. Are you going to use a question to hook your reader in? Are you going to use a surprising fact? If you get through it all, start writing your hook in your remote learning notebook. I can't wait to see it all, and it'll all be listed for where you upload it into your portfolios. Can't wait to read your writing.